Now, I also break down in other places how the genius does not mean that defines a man or a woman. This is a little disclaimer. The fact of calling something a genius means that these are qualities that are immediately and primarily available to a male or female based on their brain. So, in other words, let's talk about the feminine genius for a minute. The feminine genius, we often say, is this predisposition and focus on other people. It's an orderedness towards persons, and it's very relational. That's what makes up, a care for, an attention to, and a disposition for others. The feminine genius is not the definition of a woman. But there's an important understanding of why we're talking about the feminine genius. So women have a brain that is easier and more accessible to being primarily ordered towards other persons, which comes from the female brain as an immediately available characteristic. It's ultimately not a female characteristic. It's ultimately a human characteristic. So this is really important. You have to take like the whole thing in context here. There are other qualities that are more specific to the male brain, but need to be formed if they're going to be in a female person. And they need to be modeled correctly if they're going to be actualized and lived out correctly in a male person. That's why it's a masculine genius or a feminine genius. It's not just about being a woman or being a man, but being a woman means you have a female brain. Being a man means you have a male brain. So, for instance, the masculine brain is ordering and creating and firing off connections with a lot more testosterone. A lot more testosterone. So that's a hormone that has an effect on our characteristics, and it makes us aggressive. And it makes us not think necessarily about aligning with other people, but actually maybe pounding somebody else, maybe taking somebody out. Whereas the female brain is going to have more progesterone, more estrogen. It's going to operate more with the mirror neuron system, which knows and understands how other people are feeling more. So the female brain is more easily ordered towards connection and affiliation based on those natural characteristics. There's that significant difference. Both need to be formed. Both need to become better versions of themselves by receiving from the other. And that's why we all need each genius.